heading over to Charm City Meadworks over in Curtis Bay. So come along for the ride. I think you'll enjoy it. They make solid stuff. We're gonna have a good time. And I'm following, the camera keeps following me, now I'm feeling very subconscious. James and Andrew here know all about it. They're over in lovely Curtis Bay. Their stuff's killer. We're in a new studio to this beautiful studio, not what you're used to seeing on the Beah show at Whitey's. These guys are local guys. It's pretty badass situation here.
The original dry is probably the closest thing to a traditional, at least people's conception of what a traditional mead is. Ours is drier than most of the ones out there on the market. It's 12% ABV. It's sort of like a wine, most comparable to a white wine. Our rosemary is basically original dry infused with rosemary. After it's been fermented, we let it sit for a couple weeks, and all the rosemary right now is coming from your dad's house or my parents' house, or some friends a couple weeks ago that let us clip some.
I don't think we fully appreciated how excited Baltimore people are about local. There's been a really big push with Charm City and that, but I mean, more what motivated us to do this, I think, was really not seeing too many dry meads out there. I hadn't really seen any rosemary meads.
Probably been pushing towards this for 7 or 8 years in some way, shape, or form. The last, say, 12 months have been the first 12 months in earnest. We've only been selling now for what, like 4.5, 5 months?
Yeah, started in July. James, because he'd been doing this for so long, had laid a lot of the groundwork. I mean, the biggest thing was getting a space, which he already had, the paperwork. So kind of the risk for us to give this a shot in the evenings was not going to be, it was a huge time commitment. We totally underestimated that.
I've gone through it, in leaps and jumps, and then long periods of not doing much over the years, and had finally rented this space that we're in right now and started to convert it. When Andrew and I, who'd been scheming on some other business ideas, decided, well, you know what, this is probably a pretty good idea, and decided to push forward with it.
We gotta be the luckiest people in the world to have a group of friends like this.
Since we're working with dry meads, it makes things a little bit easier doing infusions. There's certain flavors that if you put them in during fermentation will get burned off by the fermentation process. So if you put them in initially, there's other things that change throughout a fermentation process. There's some things that it actually releases more flavor if you do it pre-fermentation. Elderberry is something that we started working with as a post-fermentation infusion, and it's which is for the most part what we've done a lot of.
We're still figuring things out. Because I live down in DC, our original plan was I would be down managing the DC market and James would be up here. But as we found out, everything just takes more time than we thought. So it's been a lot of figuring out as I have more time, kind of where to go and how to do that. James has definitely been doing a lot of the sales calls. I think what's more happening is he's doing sales calls up here, and then like with Whitey's, I was doing the deliveries.
Okay.
But we're still, that's going to be a
And you guys know each other from working together in St. Michael's, right? Or in Annapolis, or at the Maritime Museum or something?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time hanging out down around the Maritime Museum in St. Michael's, both having worked there, and are very involved in log canoe sailing, which are these really cool traditional Chesapeake craft that they race over on the Eastern Shore. Well, I was in college. I was a home brewer and a beekeeper. I took a beekeeping class, something like sophomore year. and I switched majors. I had a lot of extra credits to kind of take that were bio-based, and decided to take entomology classes, take beekeeping. And while I was doing that, a friend and I started playing around with meads. And very quickly what we were making was much better than anything available at a liquor store, you know. And that's in the rare occasion that you could even find mead on the shelf anywhere. So we decided it was a pretty good business scheme, and pursued it a little bit, although one of those things that you do when you first get out of college is to, like, oh geez, I really need to earn a living. So stupidly, I didn't do it right then. It's taken a lot of time, a lot of experimental batches. Maryland, something I've known as a beekeeper for many years, for the most part has been a very fragmented state in terms of cooperation between apiaries. They don't, that's beginning to change as people become more conscious of beekeeping and pollinators and how important they are. Also beekeepers, as they're struggling with more and more sort of diseases, things like this colony collapse disorder you hear a lot about. You know, they're starting to cooperate more, but there's no buddy that we could go to in Maryland right now and have a consistent ingredient for the production that we need. So we plan to do some special releases and varietal honeys, that kind of thing. But for our core product, we've been going up to Lancaster.
It just amazes me, and it's really a huge gift to have all you guys here, so thank you. Cheers to you guys. Cheers.
There was a rainy Saturday a couple weeks ago where this couple came up and they're like, yeah, it was 8:30 in the morning. They're like, yeah, I think we want a couple of growlers. And I was like, well, what, you know, how many exactly, and what do you want? And they're like, well, I think we'll do a case, you know, evenly split between elderberry and wildflower. And I was like, well, we can handle that. I mean, it seems like anybody that we can get it into their hands to have them try it, they become an instant fan. It's something really unique, and the folks around here in these days, if you're into alcohol or into food, you're willing to try things out.